to share with you a way if you're feeling stuck, if you are holding back, there's some kind of resistance, to find a way through that, to move forward, to take action if you have some sort of goal that you are chasing. So stay tuned, and this little process is really simple and will help you to realize you're getting all your needs met by taking action. Stay tuned. Okay, so if you're watching this video, you are procrastinating, you are stuck, you are holding back. There's something holding you back. And today I'm going to take you through a very quick process to unstick your brain and get into action and get motivated to take the action by using your very own values. And what we're going to do today is this very quick process, which is called a parts integration. I'll take you through an example which I did for myself recently, where I was resisting doing marketing for my coaching. I was resisting getting out there. I love doing my YouTube videos, but this was more that the technical back end stuff that I know I need to do, but I wasn't really doing it. So I was like, okay, well, building the business was the context for me, but it's too big a chunk. We have to get more specific before we do this process. So, okay, so what's a particular task that's very specific that I can do? And I've got my notes down here. And on the notes, it basically, as I did, this is from a few weeks back, I did this actually. And I had this goal desire was developing a coaching business, right? That was the business products, business freebies, business, all these different things that you can do with coaching. And more specifically, it was to connect with people's problems so I can develop more things that are useful for them. But more specifically is to do a workshop, right? Which is something I'm going to be doing. So if you want to log in live and do a Zoom session on some of these processes I'll take you through, I'm doing free stuff for people to log in and to learn how people interact with these different processes via a Zoom event, right? So if you're keen for resolving internal conflict, resolving the blocks, resolving that stuck state, and going through processes and following along, then stay tuned on this channel and I'll put some stuff out there with regards to an Eventbrite or a meetup or something where you can log in, and or it might be alive in YouTube for the YouTube people who are here or my subscribers. So the goal is to overcome that state and get motivated to just take action, because action solves everything, right? Action shows you what you need to know straight away. Okay, so I'll put on the board a little table that helps you follow along this process, right? So that's what I was overcoming. I wasn't doing the little marketing things, but I had a goal that I wanted to connect with my audience. I wanted to provide some value, but I wasn't doing the webinar, the seminar, the preparation. And so I was like, okay, just start doing it. I know how to do it. This is within reach. It is achievable. I believe I know I can do it. I've done it before. I can do it again, right? So it's like, why aren't I doing this? So what I had to do is connect with the parts in myself that were stuck, the parts that were conflicting, because there was two parts: one that wants to do the webinar, wants to do the seminar, wants to do the workshop, and the part that's finding other things to do, right? So let's split this up. So I've got a little sheet over here where I put it all before. Okay, so it's a part integration. I'm going to integrate two parts of me that are in conflict. Starting out on the positive side was the goal or a desire. Now, for you, it might be going to the gym. It might be losing weight. It might be going for a job. It might be, I don't know, learning a language, whatever it is, right? There's the goal, right? That's the desired state, as they would call in coaching. Now, the other side of it is the resistance. Now, here's the challenge. We push away the resistance, which makes the resistance even stronger. But what we want to do is we want to embrace the resistance to understand what it needs, because the resistance is part of you. So the resistance is going to have something to share. And so what I then wrote down, okay, let's actually write down what the goal was. And so I said, as a generalization, was coaching, business development, right? Because it's an ongoing thing. And on the flip side, the resistance was not developing products, so not taking action. Okay, so not taking action. It's a bit too general. Let's get more specific. It really helps this process a lot. So the coaching business, all right, so what's the next step in this for me? It's like, okay, let's connect with the audience, which is what I'm doing here, right? Connect with the audience. So connect with the audience, right? So we've got to get more specific. So I'm chunking down into more specifics. And how are we going to connect with our audience? Well, maybe I might need to do a workshop. And nothing connects better than a free one, right? So maybe a free workshop. That way I'm connecting with the audience, connecting with their problems, helping them to solve their problems, getting more specific. So it's helpful, it's useful, right? So that's where I got to. And so then my goal is to be teaching NLP. And so it'll be do a workshop on, let's say, parts integration, which is what this is. In this case, we're doing a linguistics parts integration with the goal of overcoming internal conflict, overcoming resistance, right? So overcoming resistance. It's not overcoming it, it's incorporating it, but it's integrating it, right? So this is a bit more specific, doing a workshop for free instead of just developing a coaching business. That's wonderful, but it's not specific enough. Whereas I know I can do this. I've done it before. I believe I can do it. One of the ingredients is you have to believe that you can do it. It needs to be within reach. It can't be some massive thing that you can't do it. So you need to believe you can do it, and then your actions become a lot more useful. On this side, not taking action, well, what does that mean? We need to get more specific. It's a bit wishy-washy. And for a start, I hadn't chunked this down when I wasn't taking action. I just said, I have to do my coaching business. But actually, I wasn't taking action because I had no plan, right? So resistance was there's no plan, right? There was no strategy at all, right? There was this keeping it away. There's a part of me that was keeping it away for no good reason. Well, there probably was a weird reason. We're going to get to that. The values underneath all of this will become clear. Now, this is what I discovered through doing this process. So down the bottom, what we're doing is we've got to ask ourselves, all right, so we're doing this parts integration workshop to connect with the audience. For what purpose, right? So that's the question we ask as a positive one. For what purpose are we doing this workshop, right? And we'll go through those values in a second. I'll put some words over here. For what purpose are we doing that? Then on the other side of it, we've got our, we weren't planning anything. We didn't really have a strategy. We were sort of just not really sure. But there was a reason under the surface for this, because there are other responsibilities going on in life, in my ecology. So that was going to be playing a big part on why I wasn't moving forward, because I had all these other things going on that were taking time. So I thought, okay, how do I resolve this? And this is where we get to the parts integration. We're going to look at the values on both sides of this. Okay, so we're not planning, we're not strategizing at all, not taking action as a result. We don't know where we're going, kind of flailing around in the breeze. And over here, we've got a workshop for free, which is a bit more specific than not developing a business. So if you stay up here, it's too general. But if you get down to what's something I can specifically do, Step one is get specific. This is something I knew I could do. I believed I could do it. It's small enough. I can do a little PowerPoint, I can invite people along to a Zoom, and we can have fun going through the process together. And someone could be a demonstration if they wanted to be. I could do it with them. I could take them on through a group session. I've done all this before. I've taught many times. I know what to do, right? So it's just about doing it. So it's not like I'm trying to learn how to fly a plane. I've already flown this plane before. I've flown the plane of teaching, right? So this is an important piece. If you don't know how to do something, well, there's other things you're going to have to do. But I knew how to do this, right? So it's not a problem. So there we go. So I believed that I could do it. I wasn't planning, so it's like, okay, let's get under the surface. Why aren't you doing a little micro plan? Something small enough that you can believe so the resistance can be on board. Let's do the parts integration. So for what purpose of doing this? So these are some of the words I wrote down. So it's helping people. It's connecting. It's belonging, which was an interesting one. This was a process I did. And then this brought up the word of love, which was interesting. And there's energy. There was growth, which is one of my values. I love life when I'm growing and I hate it when I'm stagnant. All of this brought safety. We had connection, growth. I said some things twice on my list. I wrote down mystery. I love the mystery of which is about variety. It's about, I don't know what someone's going to say when we take them through a process exactly. And it's like, I love that. Wow, I wonder how it's all going to come out of this person. Contribution. So make sure I get this onto the screen. Contribution. So these are some words that then start to repeat as I went through this process. So all I did is ask myself the question, for what purpose? What do I get from it? What's it give me? What am I getting? What's important about it? Like just repeating those sorts of questions to myself. And these are the words, the values that I came up with on why this is important to me. Now let's get to the other side, to the resistance side, to see, well, why was I not planning and not strategizing? Well, once again, I just wrote down my notes here and holding back. I had not prioritizing, which makes sense. You're not taking action because it's not a priority. I had here not focused, which makes sense. So you've got to focus, like I'm doing this video now, I'm focusing, right? So these are the things that are useful to get more specific. So, and I knew that, all right, the steps for me were going to be writing a workshop, write a good title, put on an Eventbrite or a meetup or Facebook or wherever I want to post the group. Right. So then the question is, though, okay, so you got this negative stuff here. One of the tenets of NLP is everything we do has a positive intent, right? A positive intent. Everything we do. Even the baddest people in history had a positive intent somewhere in their system. And so in this context, why am I resisting doing something which I love over here? Well, there was a context. And so the question is, let's see what's the positive intent. Very, very important to look for the positive intent here. So let's see what I wrote down as I closed my eyes and thought, all right, what's the positive intent? What does this give me? So I'm asking the same question over here, for what purpose? What does it give me? But with a lens of the positive intent, right? So we've got our values over here, what was the positive intent? What does this give me? Well, the first thing it said is that if I don't do any of this, it gave me safety because I am comfortable. All right, so I'm comfortable. And that gave me peace. All right. Now, you can then ask yourself more questions about, all right, well, okay, what was important about that? What did they give me? Well, it, the thing that was going on is at the time there was a lot going on in my life, right? And so the word responsible came up. There, I'm being responsible to others because I had other promises I'd made. And so if I take on too much, will I break some of those promises? And so that came down to what was important about being responsible to others was respect. And then those people. Well, what was important about the respect? It was connection, being connected to others, right? So being connected to others. What else came up? And what was important about the connection? I wrote the word love, right? So it's about being loved. It's about being connected. It's about belonging, which was another word, was belonging. And then we had contribution, right? So me not upsetting the apple cart with my other responsibilities was fulfilling the need of, with this resistance of not taking action. Because I got more specific under the hood, I realized we've got these values over here. Now, if you look at this list, it's a little bit fuzzy, I think, on my screen there, but I'll put the words up here somewhere in front of it. We have love and we have love. Connected. We have belonging and belonging. Connected. We have connection and we have connecting over here. We have contribution, which is connected to contribution and help. We have energy growth, safety, mystery. I got safety and I got safety. So we can see there's all sorts of connections going backwards and forwards between the two. And so then I thought, okay, the next micro step is how do you take action? How do you bring the resistance into the goal and the desire? Make the goal so it's small enough that it fits into your world, that's not going to destroy everything else. But at the same time, bring the resistance in, that the resistance is trying to get love as is the goal of contributing to a group. It's trying to get belonging, it's trying to get contribution, just in a very different way. So check in with your ecology, check in with your environment. Where can you fit this in? So you are moving forward, you are developing, you are doing the webinar, you're doing the workshop, you're connecting with the audience, you're connecting with people, you're giving value, all the things that are over here. And you can do that in a way that doesn't destroy everything else, right? So how can you time block it in there? So what I did then is I just wrote down a new list and I'll just flick over the page. So to integrate the part, if you're going to take action on this, what do I get from taking action? Now, this gave me an incredible amount of energy to the point where I was doing videos and I was doing things on it. And it's going to give me, if I take action, it's going to give me connection. It's going to give me contribution. It's going to give me the love that comes from that. It's going to give me respect. It's going to give me growth, and that's both self and others. It's going to give me growth, and it's going to give me, I wrote down competence, right? Which is going to make these presentations better and better and better every time I run them. And so that's integrating the parts. And the one thing we need to do with this, to bring the resistance along into the goal, is to take care of the ecology that we had the problem with in the first place, in that there was part of me resisting because I didn't want to upset the apple cart, but I could fit it into a small time frame, make it small enough that it fits in, and then slowly over time find balance in my ecology, in my responsibilities, and march my way out asking questions like the responsibilities, how do we overcome that? How do we overcome the responsibilities? Is there any way I can play with time? Is there any way I can, reduce some of those responsibilities? Is there any way I can put away a portion of time to focus, right? Time to focus and not go and upset the apple cart until we figure out a way to get my ecology sorted out, right? So ecology that I could step forward, continue with the marketing and the creating of presentations and the delivery of the value to my audience. So this gave me a tremendous amount of energy when I did this parts integration, and I did it. It's more linguistically, but you can do the process where you put the two parts on one hand and then bring them together and into your chest, and that's part of it. And we can do that in a session too, in a Zoom session. So that is an example of a linguistic parts integration. Gave me a tremendous amount of energy. It allowed me to focus. It allowed me to put aside some time to help me move forward. And this is something I've done with clients as well, where it works. It helps them, gets them motivated. We still have to get them into action, because action solves everything in my mind. And it'll help you too. So we'll do a simplified version of this, where we get specific, we chunk down, well, how specifically are you going to do that thing? So you create something small enough, because the problem is the original problem was so big. Build a business. Holy moly, how are we going to do that? And resistance. We've got responsibilities. Do a small webinar or a small video workshop. Well, I know I can do that because I've done it many times before. I've taught in the TAFE sector in Australia. I've done Toastmasters. I've delivered all sorts of things, right? That is an area where I'm confident, right? So I can do it. So you need to believe it and you need to chunk it down. When you chunk it down and you believe it, you'll go into the flow state. Get your values on board from the resistance, get your values on board from the goal, and bring them together so that you've got a list that motivates you into action. At the same time, we need to sort out the negative, sort out the ecology, in my case, that was the resistance. You got to bring along the elephant in the room and deal with it so that you can step into action. It could be someone in your world. It could be something in your environment. It could be something, in your beliefs. It could be something in there that's holding you back. Bring it along for the ride and bring it into the goal so you actually take a step. My name is Matt Tait. I hope this has helped you today. I hope it's helped you to move forward. I hope it's helped you to take a small step towards your goals and to bring on board the things you get with your goal, bring on board the things that we're resisting into your goal so you deal with what the actual problem is in your life. Taking action solves everything because that new experience changes who you are. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, I'd love to hear your feedback. If you went through this little process and you go through these steps, I want to hear how this has helped you. I want to hear what your values were that stepped you into action, what your values were that overcome the resistance, and how you dealt with the resistance, how you brought it into the equation so you had a holistic way of stepping into action. doing something specific and small enough that you believe you can do. These are the steps. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.